Have you ever noticed how rich people seem to magically attract more money? Even when they're not trying. It's almost like they're playing the same game as everyone else, but on some secret cheat code level you didn't get access to. Well, here's the God-honest truth. They're not smarter. They're not luckier. They're just running on a completely different psychological operating system. And the wild part? They don't even realize they're doing it, because once your brain gets wired for wealth, your decisions, habits, and emotions all quietly start working for you, not against you. So today, we're breaking down 7 powerful psychological tricks rich people use, without even realizing it, and how you can start applying them immediately. But let's start with the one mental glitch that separates the rich from the broke. And it happens literally every single day. Trick number 1, rich people see time as a currency, not a clock. Okay, first of all, to most people, time is something they spend. To rich people, time is something they buy back. They know money is infinite, but time isn't. That's why the wealthy obsess over leverage. They pay for convenience, delegate tasks, automate systems, and build income streams that make money while they sleep. The broke mindset says, why would I pay someone $50 to clean my house when I can just do it myself? The rich mindset says, if cleaning takes me 3 hours and I could make $300 in that same time, I'm losing $250 by doing it myself. It's not arrogance, it's math. When you view time as a currency, you start realizing that every yes costs you something, and the rich guard that cost ruthlessly. Here's a real-life example. Warren Buffett spends 80% of his day reading. Not because he's lazy, but because he's buying back thinking time. He outsources nearly everything else, so his brain stays free for billion-dollar decisions. That's why most millionaires aren't running faster. They're just running smarter. They're not trying to do everything. They're trying to own the system that does everything for them. Basically, start treating your hours like investments, not tasks. Every minute spent should compound, not evaporate. But if valuing your time is the first mental shift, the second one is what keeps that time from being wasted, because while most people chase money emotionally, rich people play the game of detachment. Trick number 2, emotional detachment from money. Here's the thing. Most people's relationship with money is emotional, not logical. They treat it like a toxic ex. They chase it, obsess over it, panic when it leaves, and brag when it comes back. But rich people, they treat money like a business partner, useful, predictable, and unemotional. They understand that money is a tool, not therapy. It doesn't care about your feelings, only your patterns. That's why when markets crash, they don't spiral, they strategize. When investments dip, they don't cry, they calculate. They've trained themselves to see volatility not as a threat, but as an opportunity dressed in chaos. And here's the psychology behind it. Money triggers loss aversion, a bias that makes people fear losing $100 more than they enjoy gaining $100. The wealthy learn to override that bias. They know that reacting emotionally to market noise is how you turn a temporary loss into a permanent one. For example, in 2008, while the average investor was selling in panic, the wealthy were buying assets at a discount. They didn't feel rich at that moment. They thought rich, and by the time everyone else calmed down, they were already ahead. This emotional control also protects them from the trap of overspending, because when you stop trying to feel rich, you finally start becoming rich. They don't buy things to feel good. They buy things that make them money. They don't chase status, they chase stability. The takeaway? The less emotion you attach to money, the more power you have over it. Detach from the drama, and you'll start making decisions your future self will thank you for. But here's where it gets wild. Because if emotional detachment helps you make smarter choices, then this next trick is what makes rich people almost prophetic. They don't just react to the world, they predict it. Trick number 3, anticipation bias. Thinking 5 moves ahead. Please listen to me carefully, because I want to give you a golden piece of advice. Here's what separates rich thinkers from everyone else. They don't just make decisions based on what's happening now, they make decisions based on what will happen because of what's happening now. They've developed what psychologists call anticipation bias, the ability to mentally simulate the next 5 moves before they even take the first one. Most people think in straight lines. If I get paid, I spend. If something breaks, I replace it. If it's on sale, I buy it. Rich people think in circles. They ask, if I do this, what chain reaction does it trigger? That's why they seem almost psychic when it comes to opportunities. They're not predicting the future. They're just playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Example, when a recession looms, the average person tightens up and hoards cash. The rich start preparing for what happens after the downturn. They stack liquidity, analyze undervalued assets, and position themselves to buy while everyone else is scared. It's not that they enjoy risk, it's that they understand timing. They know wealth is built not by reacting fast, but by preparing early. Even in everyday life, you can see this mindset. A middle-class person buys a flashy car to look successful. A rich thinker invests that same money in an asset that pays for multiple cars later. Same desire, completely different timeline. So please, if you love the shiny toys, or maybe you just love to impress those around you, don't take this personal. I've been in your position at some point. But now when I look back, I realized that the problem wasn't money, it was my mindset. The rich are masters of delayed gratification with foresight. They don't just wait for good things, they set them up. Their brain is wired for second and third order thinking. They're not asking, does this feel good now? They're asking, does this move me closer to freedom later? That subtle difference compounds massively over time, because while everyone else keeps reacting to life, the rich are quietly scripting it. And before we continue, when you finish watching this video, go back and watch our series on the stealth wealth mindset. We've made an entire playlist breaking this mindset down, and if you only watch this video and try to apply it alone, you'll face many problems. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to always stay updated. But anyway, it's not just about predicting the future. It's about controlling how you show up in the present. Because while everyone else is trying to look rich, the wealthy have mastered one of the most powerful psychological flexes of all. Trick number 4, the invisibility instinct. Power in silence. Seriously. Here's a psychological paradox the rich live by. The more invisible you become, the more control you gain. While most people are addicted to being seen, the wealthy are addicted to being free. And those two things rarely exist in the same room. Think about it. Every time you broadcast your success, online, in conversation, or through what you wear, you invite opinions, envy, and expectations that quietly start controlling you. You stop moving for purpose and start moving for applause. Rich people know this trap too well, which is why they build their lives around strategic silence. They don't need to prove wealth because they already own it. Their validation comes from results, not reactions. And here's the psychological trick behind that mindset. It's called self-signaling. When you act calm, measured, and private about your wins, your brain reinforces that you already belong in the world of success. You don't need to scream you're wealthy. Your actions quietly confirm it. Example, look at tech billionaires. Mark Zuckerberg wears gray t-shirts. Warren Buffett drives a 2014 Cadillac. They're not trying to look rich. They're trying to stay unbothered. This invisibility instinct isn't about hiding. It's about efficiency. Every ounce of energy spent on appearances is energy not spent on execution. And invisibility creates what psychologists call asymmetric information advantage. The less people know about your money, your goals, or your moves, the harder it is for anyone to manipulate, mimic, or interfere. It's why the stealth wealth mindset isn't just about saving money. It's about saving mental peace. When no one knows your next move, you move faster, freer, and with fewer limits. The rich use silence like armor, not secrecy. They're not avoiding attention out of fear. They're avoiding noise out of focus. So next time you're tempted to show off a win, pause. Ask yourself, am I doing this to grow or to prove? Because the truth is, quiet success scales faster than loud ambition. But invisibility is just one layer of the rich mindset. Because behind that calm, quiet confidence lies something even deeper. A mental loop that keeps rich people learning faster, adapting faster, and staying ahead while others fall behind. Trick number 5, curiosity over certainty. The rich never know. They learn. Pay attention, because here's one of the most underrated secrets of the wealthy. They don't worship answers. They worship questions. See, the broke mindset chases certainty. It wants guarantees, comfort, and safety before taking a single step. The rich mindset thrives in curiosity. It's allergic to stagnation. It lives in the land of what if and why not. While the average person is saying, I already know how money works, the rich are asking, what else don't I know that could multiply what I already have? This tiny psychological difference compounds massively, because when you're certain, you stop exploring. But when you're curious, you evolve. And evolution in money and in mindset always wins over confidence. Ray Dalio, one of the world's greatest investors, built his entire empire on radical open-mindedness. He constantly invites people to challenge his ideas, not because he doubts himself, but because he knows that curiosity keeps him sharp. Same with Elon Musk. His curiosity doesn't stay in one lane. It jumps from rockets to AI to cars to brain chips. And that curiosity is what turns impossible ideas into billion-dollar industries. The irony? Most people fail not because they don't know enough, but because they think they already know it all. Curiosity is also a powerful antidote to fear. When you're curious, failure turns into feedback. You stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And start asking, what can I learn if it doesn't? That mindset unlocks exponential growth, because every mistake becomes tuition, not trauma. Put it this way, curiosity compounds like interest. Read a new book, watch a video outside your niche, ask uncomfortable questions, because the person who stays curious in a world full of experts is the one who quietly ends up running the game. The rich don't aim to be right, they aim to understand. And that single shift in perspective is what keeps them years ahead while everyone else argues in the comments. But curiosity alone isn't enough, because even if you learn faster than everyone else, you'll never keep your wealth if you don't master this next trick. It's the invisible mental filter that protects rich people from the chaos that drains everyone else. Trick number 6, selective energy. The wealth filter. All right, I've got to be honest. Here's something most people overlook. The rich aren't just careful with their money. They're ruthless with their energy. They understand that attention is the new currency, and focus is the compound interest. So they build what I call a wealth filter, a mental firewall that blocks distractions, drama, and anything that doesn't align with their future. Because here's the truth. You don't lose success in big crashes. You lose it in small leaks, the endless arguments, the toxic friends, the news cycles designed to keep you scared and scrolling. Every one of those is an invisible tax on your potential. Meanwhile, the wealthy have learned to treat energy like an investment portfolio. They don't spend it randomly, they allocate it strategically. They know every yes has a cost, and every no is an investment in clarity. Example, look at how top performers schedule their lives. They live by routines, not impulses. They say no to 95% of invitations, meetings, and meaningless social obligations. They're not antisocial, they're anti-distraction. Warren Buffett once said, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." That's not arrogance. That's energy management, because every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying no to something that could have changed your life. And here's the psychology behind it. The human brain only has so much decision-making energy per day. Once that's drained, you default to habits, shortcuts, and emotions. The rich protect that energy like oxygen. They automate what doesn't matter. They delegate what they shouldn't touch. And they focus their mental bandwidth on the few things that move the needle: assets, systems, and leverage. That's why they look calm even when they're building empires. Their life isn't cluttered with noise. It's designed for momentum. The solution is simple. Audit your energy like you audit your bank account. Ask, what's draining me daily? Who's pulling me off track? What am I giving attention to that gives nothing back? Then start cutting ruthlessly. Because the moment you protect your energy, your decisions sharpen, your creativity explodes, and your wealth trajectory multiplies. Discipline doesn't create freedom. Selectivity does. And that brings us to the final and most underrated psychological trick of all. It's the quiet force behind every wealthy person's success. The one thing that keeps them calm when everyone else is panicking and confident when everyone else is confused. Trick number 7, controlled identity, becoming the person before the paycheck. Now let me warn you real quick, because here's something that'll mess with your head. Rich people don't chase money. They embody it. They don't say, I want to be rich. They say, I'm the kind of person who makes smart financial decisions every day. That's called identity-based psychology, and it's the foundation of every behavioral change that lasts. Most people try to do before they become. They try to copy rich habits while still thinking with a poor person's mindset. But rich people flip it. They decide who they are first, and then their actions follow naturally. You can see this everywhere. A broke person sees $100 and thinks spending power. A rich person sees $100 and thinks investment power. Same money, different identity. And here's the kicker. Once you see yourself as a wealth builder, your brain subconsciously filters everything through that identity. You start asking different questions. You start spotting different opportunities. You start attracting different results. It's not luck, it's psychology. Example, before Jeff Bezos was rich, he was already acting like a founder. Before athletes get drafted, they already train like professionals. Before investors become millionaires, they're already thinking like one. You don't wait for proof, you act like the proof. Because when your actions align with your identity, the results eventually have no choice but to catch up. Bottom line, you don't need millions to use these tricks. You just need awareness. Start by choosing one. Audit your time like a portfolio. Stop reacting emotionally to money. Write down who you want to become and act like that person for 1 week. You'll be shocked how quickly your environment starts bending in your favor. The truth is, wealth isn't a number, it's a pattern. And once your brain learns that pattern, everything else follows naturally. Here's the real secret no one tells you. You don't need to become someone else to get rich. You just need to unlearn the psychology that's been keeping you broke. Once you stop chasing validation, wasting time, and letting emotions control your decisions, you'll start to see money differently. And when you see money differently, you use it differently. That's when life changes, quietly. So if this helped you rewire your mindset, comment the words stealth wealth below to lock it in. And if you're ready to dive deeper into how rich people actually think, watch my next video on why 99% of Americans never get rich. Just click the video on the screen now, and we'll see you in the next one.